Hi everyone, this is Justin Cyrus again. I'm here today to talk to you about our Canary air quality database. So this database will actually allow you to analyze, download, and interact with the data from your Canary air quality monitors. All you have to do here is type in your username and password. You can come down to create account. One thing you will need to create an account is a token sent to you by Lunar Outpost. If you don't have a token, please let us know. Usually we send these out once you have hardware in hand. Come down, tell them you're not a robot, click create an account. Or if you do happen to forget your password, you can click here, just enter your username and email, and we'll send you a temporary password where you can now create a new one. So we're going to go ahead and log in, and I'll walk you through the database, everything from analyzing the data to source triangulation to downloading the data. As you can see on our home page, you have a table here. It gives you the name of your Canary units, the parameters that are selected, and then the units for those parameters are right underneath. So the quality indicators are in colors. Green is good, yellow is moderate, red is unhealthy. Sensor connectivity is also color coded, so if it's blue, as we see here with the 3 AQ spec units, that means it's connected, everything's healthy, you're good to go. Gray means it's disconnected, so it's not connected to the cellular network or the cloud. And purple means there's something wrong. So that probably means that one of your sensors is damaged or something's reporting just not quite right. And if it remains purple for a while, that's when it will be time to contact us at Lunar Outpost. So not seen on these units, but flag colors for WBGT is over here. White is no flag, green, yellow, red, and black flags will all be shown here in the table below if you do have WBGT on your Canary air quality monitoring units. Over here you have a map you can interact with. These are just a few in our backyard in city and county of Denver, and once you click the unit it'll tell you which unit it is and the coordinates for that. So if you want more information regarding the WBGT or the health indicators or the sensor headers, click down here for the help page. Now to go to our map page, you can click here for more map functionality, but before we do that, we're going to show you how to actually configure a table. So let's say you have a whole list of units, but you don't need them all right when you start up your website. So you can come here, select which units you actually want. Here we'll just click AQ Spec 1 and 2 as a test. We'll select our list of sensors. Let's say we only care about internal humidity and PM 2.5. Save that configuration, and as you can see, now our table on our home page represents what our preferences were. So next we're going to show you the sensor page, and there we'll go into some graphing and analytics. Alright, so this is our sensor page. Here you can select which sensor you want to take a look at. Here we're on AQ Spec 2. And then this box will give you more detailed information about the sensor itself, including the device ID, location, last sent message, and the uptime. So the uptime is how many messages that we receive that have the parameter PM 2.5 given the time period selected versus how many we expect to receive. So here, as you can see, the uptime is excellent. Status, the status of the sensor is connected. This will either be connected, disconnected, or damaged. Signal strength, here the signal strength is good, and then our sensor status, okay, both our sensors are working well. So for more information on the signal strength and sensor status, you can click here, and that'll just give you an overview of any error codes you might expect to see or what each one of these means in more detail. Now on the right side we have a graph. So once you scroll over the graph, it'll actually pop up the unit where you're scrolling to allow for easy analysis, and then you can click and drag to zoom in on the graph. So once I click and drag to zoom in, I can either double click to reset my axes, or when I click and drag, I can come up here to the reset axes button. You also have the zoom out and zoom in buttons if you prefer those. You have a pan button which allows you to move the graph around, and then you have zoom, which takes you back to your original functionality. And then last but not least, you can download the graph as a PNG. So on Google Chrome and Mozilla Firefox, this does download as a PNG. On Microsoft Edge, this will download as an SVG file. So here we pulled up Canary with wind speed and wind direction, as you can see down here. And over here is what the wind rose looks like when it's populated. It shows the direction of the wind as well as the magnitude of the pollutant. This is very helpful for visualizing where the pollutant is coming from and trying to pinpoint the source of potential pollutants. Similar to the graph, you can zoom in on specific portions to get a more fine-tuned picture of what you're looking at. And you can double click on the graph to zoom back out and reset your axes. So you can also download these plots as a PNG, and then you toggle the data. So let's say I don't want to see any of the green data. I can just click there and it will toggle that off. Now that's helpful when you're trying to analyze some of this data. So over here you have the sensor comparison page. This is where you can compare 3 units data on the same graph. This is great for co-locations or for network analysis. Let's take a look at the 3 AQ spec units, 1 day's worth of data for PM 2.5. So once you come down here and click submit, on the right you'll see the generated graph. At the bottom you have your R-squared values. As you can see, the R-squared values are great between these sensors, 0.98. And then once you scroll over the graph, instead of just seeing one value, all 3 values at that timestamp will pop up. Same functionality as the other graph. Click and drag to zoom in, double click to zoom out, or you can click and drag and use the buttons up here to pan, to zoom in, zoom out, so you can do some analysis right here on the database. If you click one of the colors or one of the sensors, that data will disappear. If you click it again, that data will pop right back up. So any other graph functionality questions or sensor comparison questions, feel free to contact us. Next stop, we're moving to the map. Now, as you can see, it pulls up a very broad view of the world. That's because we have sensors all over the United States, but we're going to want to zoom in. So you can use your mouse wheel to zoom in, or you can double click to zoom in. A button up here resets your zoom. These are also some zoom buttons that you can use as well. Now down here on the left hand corner, you can select which pollutant you want to take a look at. Let's say we want to take a look at PM 2.5, and let's go into those AQ spec units that we have out in Riverside, California. So now that we've zoomed in a little bit, which will give us a better view of where everything is, we can click any circle that has a dotted line around it and it'll split apart. So the dotted line means these are averages. Now it averages the units for the zoomed out views, and as you can see as we keep scrolling out, it averages them again, but then we click, now we can see each unit separately. So that's the functionality, the more advanced functionality of the map. This allows you to see exactly where your units are, what they're reading, and this can also allow you to analyze real-time your Canary network situation and select different pollutants to go along with it. Now these sensors don't have any gas pollutants. So these sensors are just particulate matter. So if I do select carbon monoxide, you'll see the circle disappear. But then if I go and select PM1, PM10, PM2.5, these will show up on the map. Now that's it for the map page. Let's go ahead and go over to the triangulation page, and we'll walk you through a triangulation project. So with the triangulation projects, you come over here to create a source triangulation project, give your project a name, choose the units you want. So here we'd select AQ Spec 1, 2, and 3. Preferably these units are all within a kilometer of each other, or otherwise you might get some funky data. Up to 10 kilometers of each other can give you accurate results, but again, the closer they are together, the more accurately you can pinpoint the source of the pollutants. You choose your start date for the data and the end date. The longer date range of data you have, the more accurate you can pinpoint the source of the pollutant, and down here you select your pollutant. And then lastly, you'll just press Save Project and it'll run. At this time, the triangulation's still in alpha stage, so it will not be available. So let's go over to the data page. This page is very simple, very straightforward. All we want you to be able to do here is view the data, view the raw data, or download the raw data. So simply come over here, select which Canary unit, select the date range you want to see, and it starts at midnight and it goes until 11:59 of the same day. So let's say I want to see from the 15th to today. I'll come down here and press view. It'll create a new page and it'll show me the data. Now the negative ones, don't worry about those. That just means you don't have that sensor. But if you do see a combination of data with negative ones, that means there is a missing value there. So you can scroll through the data. As you can see, the data comes in every minute, and it has negative ones as the first line. So don't worry about that first line either. So going back to the data page, you can also download this data as a CSV file, which makes it very easy to import into Microsoft Excel. Next up, we got the help page. So the help page is where you go when you have questions regarding the Canary S, the hardware itself, or the database. And you can open instructions, which will open the Canary S instructions, telling you everything from how to mount the unit to what power sources you connect it to. You can open up the data sheet, which will give you the exact specifications, physical properties. Then you can also go through a lot of the frequently asked questions. So what is a numerical range of the health indicators is a great example. Good quality, 0 to 50, moderate, 51 to 100, unhealthy, above 101. Now you can click here to get more information on AQI standards. You do have sensor abbreviation explanations, just in case you're wondering what some of those abbreviations actually meant. And at the bottom, you can see you have your contact information, your email, your business hours, in which you can contact us. So that's our phone number. Email us at info@Lunar Outpost if you have any trouble. The contact information is also at the bottom, as well as some of the social media sites. So this takes you to our website, the visit button. You can email us or call us at any time. So now we're going to show you some useful features that were added to the database by customer request. The first up is public display. As you can see, you can find it here in the top right under the drop-down menu. We actually click on public display. Now, what this is used for is a situation where you want to share one specific bit of data to the public where they don't have to have a username and password to access that information. Great use case for municipalities, organizations, companies that have a use case where they want to have a good amount of data for themselves and want to be able to analyze that data, but then also share some of that data with the public in an easy to use and convenient way. So to create a new public display, we just click here on the addition button. As you can see, your set URL is lunaratmo.com, and then you can enter your custom URL. So here we're just going to make a test 1. We're going to change the pollutant to PM 2.5, change the graph interval to 12 hours, and AQ spec 1 is fine as a Canary unit, but we can select from a drop down there. So I go ahead and click create, and then it'll tell me my page is created successfully. So let's go ahead and navigate to Lunar Atmo test 1 just to see what pops up. Now, this is your public display. Very simple, very straightforward. Tells you the live value right here, tells you what you're looking at and the units of measurement, and then also gives you a graph so the public can analyze the data if they so choose. This graph functions just like the rest of them. Click and drag, and you can double click to zoom back out. Now, there is no other functionality on the public display. We kept it fairly simple, fairly straightforward, but this is what the public will see when they come to this page. So next up, let's go back to the alerts. So first, let's delete this public display to clear our queue. So we delete that, the site will ask us yes. So that public display is now deleted. So if someone does go to that URL, there will no longer be anything there. So next up is alerts. So with the alerts, how you create an alert is you click the add alert button. Alert for AQ spec 1, let's try that. Send an email when the device is offline, or you can set a parameter if PM 2.5 is greater than, let's set it fairly low, let's set it at 1, just to make sure we get something. Now to make sure that alert is created, you come click Update Alerts. You'll get that banner again that tells you the alerts are updated successfully, and you're good to go. Now, some people like getting alerts every minute. Some people like getting alerts, maybe every month. So down here you have an alert interval where you can change it. I have mine set to, send me an alert every 8 hours, but that is easily changeable to days, to minutes. Here we're going to change it to minutes just so I can show you what happens when you actually get an alert. So this will send me an email. Now it will also update the alert badge down here. So once you click on the alert badge, it will pull up the alert. Okay, so AQ spec 1, PM 2.5, it will give you the actual value of what it is greater than 1, and it will give you the timestamp. So to get rid of this alert, all I have to do is click X, which is marking it as seen, and I'll click the drop down to minimize the badge. So that's about it for alert functionality. And then also to delete an alert, all you do is come over here, press delete, no alerts configured, make sure I press update alerts, and it'll say alerts updated successfully, so now I have successfully deleted that alert. Next up is the settings page. So also under the drop down in your top right, settings allows you to see what your username is, what email I'm using, customer ID. You can set your phone number if you want us to be able to contact you there. It's not necessary. But the nice thing is you can change names of these canaries. So let's say I want to name it by location. So I'll call this one Riverside 1. And then I'll update my name. Canary name changed successfully. Let's return to the home page to make sure. And as you can see, it's no longer called AQ Spec 1. It's now Riverside 1 as seen here. So that will carry through all of your graphs and all of your tables. There we go. And my canary name has been changed successfully as seen through the banner. You can also change your password on this page. So that's about it for our database. Last thing you have to do, once you're done using the database, just come up to the top right and log out of your account. This will return you to the login page, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you had a good time watching it and it was informative. Please let us know if you have any questions at info@lunaraoutpost.com, and we'll see you next time.